How to form close friendships and real relationships. In this video, I'm going to be discussing with you guys a couple of different techniques and strategies that you can use to actually make close friends with people if you feel like people aren't interested in you, or if you feel like you get stuck in surface level interactions, or if you have relationships that are unfulfilling and they're not actually getting more close and meaningful with the people that you actually care about. So what we're going to do is just go through these different slides here, and we'll get into some of these techniques and some of these key mindsets. So to start it off, mindset number one is actually some research for you guys. So research has found that anybody can be friends. So they found that age does not matter. Social status does not matter. You do need to form a connection. We will get into that a little bit later on about how that works, but I want you guys to realize something. So stop writing people off or disqualifying yourself from being friends with anybody, because done correctly, it's actually possible and it's proven that you can make friends with virtually any person. So let's talk about what leads to actual close friendships. So there's research that shows us that the number one factor to forming close friendships is repeated interaction. So actually, shared beliefs and marital status, the things that you would think are important, don't matter as much as repetition. The way that they conducted this research in this study was they actually took a bunch of veterans that had come back from war to follow them and see who they reintegrated with and who they made friends with again once they came back. And what they ended up finding was that majority of the time, somewhere around 90%, the war veterans became friends with their neighbor, not because of the person's characteristics, but just because that's the person that they would see over and over and over again. So this is the reason that I harp on becoming a regular at your local hotspot and sending invitations to people. So the same effect works on Instagram at scale as well. When people see your posts and see your stories over and over again, and this is especially true if you're talking into the camera. So research shows us that it takes about 50 hours for somebody to consider you their friend, and then it takes 300 hours to be considered somebody's best friend on average. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. Now, the first principle and the first technique that I wanted to discuss when it comes to forming close friendships and real ties with people is the biggest telltale sign in a conversation between two close people is self-disclosure and how much vulnerability is involved. So again, research shows us that close friendships don't keep things on a surface level. It becomes more emotional by injecting personal struggles into their conversations. And it's not to ask each other for help or to even really rely on each other to solve each other's problems, but rather relating to one another by having a relatable, high-value problem. So the way that might sound in a conversation is like, yeah, things have been good, man. I'm just trying to figure out the best way to handle this problem that I'm having in my business. It's not always easy, man. It's been a rough week. You know what I mean? So people that are always trying to be high value or never let their guard down or act cool to keep up appearances, a lot of the time, these same people exaggerate the positives and they want to pretend that everything is on the up and up and it's successful. These people are fakes. These people are the surface level cappers. So I would actually recommend that you watch out for this behavior. These type of people that just seem to always want to talk about how good everything is actually a telltale sign that, you know, that's not really the making for somebody that can be a close friend if you're implementing self-disclosure and it's not being reciprocated. So another thing is going to be asking better questions of people. So stop asking yes or no questions and start actually caring. So instead of saying something like, "Are you ready for the holidays?" you'd get met with an answer that's somewhere along the lines of, yeah, I am. But rather, if you ask, how are you going to spend the holidays? That's going to give you a completely different answer, where they might say, I'm traveling to my parents' house. I'm going to see my siblings. I've got to go, meet my newborn niece, right? So actively listening to those type of things and then responding in a way that shows you care is going to be key. All right. And then another technique that you'll want to implement if you're really wanting to make close friends or a real tie with somebody is to aim to keep tabs on people. So you want to seek to stay in the loop about their life events and about their goals. So asking follow-up questions after you're seeing them for the second or third time. So has your boss been nicer to you since that last blow up? Or, hey man, how was the trip? Did you guys go do X or maybe Y? Or catch me up, man. What's been new since the last time that we've talked? So you have to be interested in their life and become genuinely curious and show them that you've been keeping tabs on it. The next topic is a really important one that I need to bring up to you guys, which is going to be using safety behaviors. So deep down, we all have this fear of appearing needy or being unliked or not being good enough. But do you feel always afraid to say something dumb or cringe, and for that reason, you're very quiet and reserved? Maybe you actually avoid friendship or connection for fear of being found out. Maybe you're a very quiet person and don't have much to say in conversation. If you struggle to assert yourself, or you're constantly finding yourself as a sidekick, if you stay at home or make up excuses not to go out, if you don't accept invitations, the biggest symptom that I see from a lot of guys is that they just don't say much. They're not very talkative. So these are all safety behaviors. And unfortunately, these safety behaviors only get confused for being lame, boring, or weird. So approach anxiety is a safety behavior. Fear of public speaking is a safety behavior. Staying quiet is a safety behavior. So something to recognize is not just the safety behaviors in yourself, but also the fact that other people have safety behaviors and insecurities. So this is why the best play is to initiate the closeness that you're looking for. So for example, if a dude that you know sees you at the gym and he doesn't say hi to you, it's likely that he's using a safety behavior. Or again, if a person that you're friends with is walking past you or he doesn't dap you up, it's likely he's just trying to act cool and look cool, and he's using a safety behavior. So assume that this is the case and then lend them a helping hand. This is done with initiating. It's done with self-disclosure, and then it's done with invitations. So oftentimes you have to create the space for other people to feel comfortable reciprocating. And that's why the next topic I want to jump on is you must invite, right? So it's actually proven to be necessary for you to spend time around people in different and new contexts to bring them into your world and bring them into your life. You can't just see a person again and again at the same place. Otherwise, that just becomes your gym buddy or your work friend. So some things that you can start doing is spontaneous invitations during friendly conversation. Saying something like, I've been thinking about doing X sometime soon. I think it would be really fun. Maybe that's something that we can go check out sometime. Or you can just send text message and DM follow-up invitations. Hey person, I'm doing X. Thought of you from that conversation we had the other day. Feel free to pop out and join us if you're free. And a lot of you guys need to overcome your fear of invites if you're ever going to make close friends, if you're ever going to get a best friend or actually form real connections with people. So do you worry that people are too busy or that you'll come across as weird and needy? So what I want you to do is imagine if this person that you'd met invited you to do something that both of you like. Wouldn't you say yes to that? Inviting somebody to something is offering value to them, and it adds positivity to their lives, regardless if they can make it or not. So If you frame the invite as something you're already doing and thought of them to come along, this is actually the opposite of needy. This is a benevolent behavior. It's well-meaning and it's kindly. So be proud of that. You're offering value and positivity. The next thing is going to be quieting your inner critic. So developing deeper relationships with people is a long-term game. So that being said, you're going to make mistakes along the way and do things wrong. And if anything ever goes wrong, what you need to do is say to yourself, next time I'll do X. So instead of worrying about things not going right or if something going wrong and bullshitting negative self-talk in your mind, take on the frame that you've learned something and next time you'll be able to do this. So write down specific things you feel insecure about and want to work on. So maybe it's your opening, maybe it's your conversation skills, maybe it's your vibe, or maybe it's your tone. You have to go out and you have to try to know where you suck. But that's going to be where you get the information so that you can know what to work on and where to study. So here's how to be the friend people want to spend time with. So people can only maintain about 150 different relationships according to research. And research tells us people spend 60% of their social effort on 15 people. So you only have to aim to be in somebody's top 15 to be their friend or, be a part of their life or for them to be a part of yours. So there's the 7 pillars of friendship here. And it's going to be language, speaking the same language, location, being in the same location, trajectory, being on the same path, right? Hobbies, which is having the same interests, morals, which is upholding the same values, music, actually very important, having a similar taste in music, and then a similar sense of humor. So these are the 7 pillars, and you'll be in somebody's top 15 if you share these things. So in a sense, it's a little bit of a numbers game to find this. And that's the reason why I'm friends with dudes that are much older than me. I'm friends with guys that are much more successful than me. And it's because I've seen them multiple times and we share a lot of the 7 pillars. So you can't forget about friendship maintenance. Positivity is the first thing on the list. So you want to basically try to do 5 things that are fun with your friend per year to maintain that relationship. The second is supportiveness. So offer them assistance or help them feel supported a couple of times per year. That's going to be things like helping them move their furniture out of their house if they're moving. It's going to be giving them a ride if their car is in the shop. All right. And then openness year round. Share your true thoughts and your true opinions regularly. And then, of course, the final one is interaction. So staying in touch with people through text, through social media, and in person. And then, of course, at some point, there's going to be some bumps in the road. It's likely that over time, you'll hit red lights or come across bumps in the road. The more positive experiences that you have with somebody, the more indestructible the relationship is. But when struggle arises, communication is the key. So if there's any sort of like anger towards a roommate or if there's resentment towards a buddy, it's going to always come back to a boundaries issue. So addressing that boundary is the best play before walking away or cutting somebody off. Don't be that person that just cuts people off and just disappears out of people's lives. So instead, use I statements. It could be through text, phone call, or in person. I don't respect or appreciate when guys put a woman before a friendship. It appears that that's what's happening here. So that would be an example of something that you would say to somebody before you would end the relationship with them or cut them off. So that's it, guys. I hope this video can help you see some of the different things that have been holding you back from forming close friendships. A lot of it has to do with safety behaviors, and then a lot of it has to do with consistency. So I hope that's helpful, guys. Cheers.